Hello, lovely folks of YouTube, Ren here. It's January, so let's see what's going on in my garden. Not much, I'll tell you that, but we'll take a look. I'll show you and I'll talk about it. Alright, so, as is usual, we're starting here at my hazel, the contorting hazel. This is a really cool plant. Gives us something of what we call winter interest. In gardening terms, that basically means a plant that still looks interesting and is cool to look at even in the winter time. A lot of plants, they don't give you a whole lot. Like you can see all this stuff here, this is all died back and needs to be cut down to the ground. That does not provide winter interest, but this does. You can see the outline of the tree itself, all these really cool contorting branches in there. It's got the catkins hanging on there, which will start putting out pollen in the spring. So it actually looks really interesting, and you can see more of the tree and what it looks like in the wintertime than you can in the summertime when it's in full leaf. Now, one of the big tasks that I do during this time, January, February, is when I start marking out the things that I need to attend to in the garden. So I don't know if you can see, but there are some really straight branches growing up from the ground in my contorting hazel. Those are actually branches that are growing off of the rootstock of the hazel. The contorting hazel is grafted onto a standard hazel rootstock, and that standard hazel will occasionally send up some branches that are very straight, which is what standard hazel does. Those branches have got to go, otherwise they will eventually overtake my contorting hazel, and then I won't have a contorting hazel anymore, I'll just have a regular hazel. So that needs to be attended to. I also have my neighbor here. You can see they've let a mulberry tree grow right up next to my fence, and there's a branch that's actually coming through my fence that needs to be cut down. So that will need to be tended to as well. I just filled up my bird feeder. I've had lots of visitors so far, mostly juncos. We usually get a lot of juncos in the wintertime. They migrate down here from up in Canada to get their little warm weather fix. And you can see my blueberry here does still have a few leaves on it, which kind of surprises me because this one does not. Blueberry is another one that's actually kind of neat for winter interest because the branches are that nice reddish color. So you can see my raspberries are just down to the ground. The two beds where I planted the fava beans, they have not grown. I probably got them out a little bit too late and it's just been too cold for them to sprout. So hopefully they'll pop up in the spring. And look, there's a discarded mask in my backyard. Because those things are like plastic bags now. They just fly everywhere. So this is something I wanted to show you guys. It's really cool that I did this year. This is my Yule tree. So this is an actual like Christmas tree that I bought from the local nursery. I had some ornaments on it that were like birdseed ornaments, but obviously the birds took care of those. So the ribbons on there, this is actually a tradition that we do in my tread in Blue Star, where we will have a Yule tree, and then the Yule tree after Yule is cut down and all the branches are taken off, and the central trunk of the Yule tree becomes our maypole. So we use that as the maypole, and then the maypole is then taken down after Beltane, cut up into pieces, and those pieces become our Yule log for the next year. So we're kind of like cycling the Yule tree through the entire year into new things. So all these ribbons that you're seeing on my Yule tree are actually ribbons from prior year's maypoles that are basically put onto the Yule tree for decoration. And then of course this tree will be taken down soon. I'll take all the branches off of it. I'm probably going to make some smoke wands out of these. You know, add in some cedar and bay leaves, and that'll be a nice smoke wand that we can give to the grove. But yeah, it'll be our Beltane maypole, which hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be able to get together at Beltane. So we'll see. So I'm excited about that. Oh, I want to show you this too. This is really cool. I don't know where this came from, but I got this little gift here. It is a wasp nest. That is literally where I just found it this morning when I walked out. It's like, don't know where that came from, but there it is. So you can see my rue is still kind of hanging in there. It's doing all right. Rue usually hangs in pretty well over the winter here for us. There are a few things that are dying back. A lot of this stuff needs to be cleaned up and put away. My chair needs to go in the shed. My end table needs to go in the shed. I have stuff in pots that definitely needs to go under cover. You can see my poor little prickly pear. I should have put that away because it's just dropping pads now. It's not happy, so I gotta put that in the shed and give it some shelter. The rosemary and the horseradish can stay out here though. So lots of hips on my roses that I haven't had time to pick because I've been working. I'm going back here, you can see my elder is pretty bare right now. Most everything is bare and dead. There's my comfrey, just a big pile of dead leaves on the ground. Gardenias are actually looking pretty good, as is my camellia. These are plants that this year, well actually later today I should say, I'm going to be winterizing these plants, and I'll be making a video showing you how I do that. They're going to be wrapped up to protect them from the cold. We've had one hard freeze so far, and I want to make sure to get these wrapped up before we have any more. And I might, there's a hydrangea back there as well. I might wrap that one up too, just to protect the new buds on that so it gets a little bit bigger. You can see the big tangled mess that my peppermint is right now. That needs to be all cleaned up and cut away. It is wet. It's been very wet. Oh, I don't know if you just saw that. Hang on. If we go here and we hang out, it's going to be a little bit of background noise for my heat pump. But pond is pretty full because we've had lots of rain. And the fish are in there. They're doing just fine. I saw one come up to the surface just a minute ago. So they're just hanging out doing their thing. Don't have the waterfall running, of course, because I don't want anything to freeze in the tubing. So that's been drained out. And just to protect that. But yeah, fish are doing great and they should overwinter just fine. So let me see. Looks like my Actea died down to the ground, but my my new plant, the, oh gosh, what's the name of it? Bear's Britches is one of the common names. It starts with an A. God dang it, brain, why won't you brain? Anyway, it's doing fine, so yep. Oh, and look at you, Pulmonaria. You did this last year too, giving me flowers. What are you doing? It's too early for that. It's January, buddy. Alright, well, plant's gonna plant, I guess. Anyway, so yeah, this time of year it's mostly just a lot of kind of battening down the hatches and keeping things protected from the winter. January, February are usually the worst months for us here in Virginia. Although we have gotten snow as late as March 17th one year, so, you know, you never know. But yeah, at this point, we're just going to try and protect what we can and get through the winter, because that's what we do during the winter. So, anyway, that's all I've got for you. Hope this video finds you well, and I will see you again soon.